Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining. I think give people another minute or so to start. Um, uh, so hopefully today we'll talk more about robotic process automation, the RPA within Microsoft Power Platform, and what the initial setup, how we use it, what the key advantages, the competitors in the markets, or other technologies, and we go through all the details. I think we can jump in or start. So in this call, we go through the RPA general. What is it as a concept? How is it as a part of the Microsoft ecosystem, which is, and to be more specific, Microsoft Power Platform. The key component for the RPA inside the Microsoft Power Platform, some use cases, and we will go through a demo, and hopefully at the end, we'll go through some QA and interaction session. To start, to define the RPA. So simply, the RPA is some kind of I want to call it technology. It's a more description of a practice where we have a tool, a script, a code that mimic humans' actions, where people can configure it and let's say design it to take specific actions on specific systems. Now, to considerably, Microsoft considered as a, let's say, modern player in this world. There are some other players, big players like Automation Anywhere, UiPath. These are like big names doing the RPA, but recently around 2016, Microsoft entered this world. And to be honest, Power Automate Desktop, it was another product, and Microsoft bought it, renamed it, and bought a lot of enhancement on it, integrated with all other Microsoft tools, and it's now called Microsoft Power Automate Desktop. So what's it? Any RPA bot code, whatever, you will see all the names. So general idea of the RPA that you have this bot or code or program that will mimic humans' actions, like clicks, open files, closing file, even logging to the machine, checking some machine statuses, all of that. So it's more like a human taking action. And with the recent update of AI, this is similar to agentic AI, but it's more of actual actions rather than just to prompts and instructions. So you specify the exact clicks, you specify the exact validation that you want to do inside the system, what programs to be used, how much resources from the machine you want to use, and all of that. So it's usually a bot. This is the most used, let's say, term for this. It's a bot, and that's doing the RPA for you. It's mimic a human actions. Like for example, we will go through the example, but for let's say quick one, someone opening an Excel sheet, copy some data from this sheet and fill it into an ERP system. That ERP system, let's say it's custom, 10 years old, there's no API, there's no integration, there is no way to interact with, and this is taking hours from this employee. We can replace that by a bot doing exactly the same things. We can do all the kind of data manipulations as well, validation and transformation. It has two main things, which is running attended or unattended. Attended means like someone already logged into the device, to the server, to the machine, and start the bot, and you will see some actions happening in front of you, and this is what we will see today in this demo. Unattended, which is, to be honest, this is mostly used because the attended one does not have much of benefit for the users unless you want the machine to be logged on all the times and you overcome the standby timeout and or is there an MFA for the sign-in and all of that. But unattended, this is where most companies used. Machines is in idle state. Once the bot is triggered, depends on the inside or outside the trigger, that will log into the machine, start doing the actions, and after it's finished, it will log out from the machine. And this machine usually is dedicated for the RPA. It could have one, two, three bots, depends on the resource specification of the server or the machine itself. And there are multiple options from Microsoft about the hosting of the machine. You can have it locally, and you can have it on Azure, what's called self-hosted. Now we'll go through it as well. Now let's go as part of the Power Platform. So Power Automate is the tool from Microsoft for the workflow in general. So they have a version of it, call it Power Automate Desktop Flows, and this is what RPA in the Power Platform, let's say, ecosystem. Of course, as usual with Microsoft, it's fully integrated with all other 365 tools. So Power Automate Cloud, for example, can be integrated easily with Power Automate Desktop Flow. So I can consume or trigger the bot from the cloud, from any other systems. And Power Automate itself, the cloud one, can be interacting with any external APIs, any other, let's say, SAP systems, Oracle systems, any other systems, and that one can integrate with the desktop flow to trigger the desktop or the flow. In addition to this, in the Power Platform, we have the AI Builder. Now, the AI Builder is some kind of a tool that offers multiple AI capabilities. Now, this AI Builder is mixed now with a lot of open AI as well capabilities. So all of this can be used and mixed with the bot. And at the end, you need a place to save the data, store the data, interact with the data, depends on your use case, of course. We have Dataverse, which is a cloud hosted database, predefined model. So you don't need to worry about hardware or hosting or anything like this. So it will be there for you. You can use it with all of these tools. In addition to this, these tools will be fully integrated with the other 365, Outlook, Teams, SharePoint, planners, even ERP systems, CRM systems from Microsoft, and to be honest, other ones as well. All right, okay. So let's take an example of a famous, let's say, scenario, okay, which is the invoices. So enterprise usually have the invoices, even the AI now covering some of this area, which is the PDF OCR, but still in some scenarios, the AI still can fail if you have, let's say, a lot of complex format, multiple language format, and all of that. So what we can do here is the RPA can, once they trigger the email with the invoice attached to it, then the AI builder can read the data and then trigger. If it's failed, then can trigger the bot as well to check whether there is any mismatching or there is any other, let's say, configuration for that specific vendor. And then the bot, if we have an old ERP system, then the bot can push the data into the ERP system. And why I'm saying old system, because usually the modern system has an API. So I don't need a bot or a human to do it. I can use the API. But in case if you have a system, or even you have a modern system, but you have a security consideration, you don't want to access it from outside, even from Microsoft Cloud, and you want it only to be accessed locally in your machine, so the bot as well can serve you. Or it's a very old system, you cannot integrate with it, bot will save you as well, and then you push the data. And at the end, again, you can push some kind of notification for the finance team that it's done, or they can review it on the system. So this is usually the scenario, a simple scenario of how we can use the RPA. Now, there are many use cases for departments, different departments. Like for example, for the finance, we talked about the invoice, account statement on cash from the banks, and the reconciliation as well. This can be done using bots. Invoices in general, all of this can be done using a bot. But again, the preferred option is to try to make it fully automated using API if possible. But if there's any concern, like the system is not integratable or security concern, you can consider the bot. For the HR, if you have an old system for HR and you want to automate stuff as well, you can use the HR. For the IT, For the IT mainly, there are a lot to use in the bot. Like we've done once that we preparing the user's machine all automatically by the bot, install some kind of custom applications that cannot be running from the Active Directory, doing all the installation, doing all the updates for these tools and all of that using the bot. So this is an option as well. For operation, it depends in your scenario. So depends what kind of data, what kind of system you are integration with. And for the customer service, again, if you have specific actions that needs to be taken by someone, then you can mimic that. So that can be done with the bot. Okay. All right. So let's deep dive, and we'll show you some kind of examples and how to start with it. And to be honest, it's a big, let's say, subject, but we'll try as much as I can to cover the topic here. All right, to start with, you will need to install something called Power Automate Desktop. And you can find it if you just say install Power Automate Desktop, it's our first option. There's two free and paid versions, so you can go with the free as for you for testing. If you want to go online, you need to go to make.power.automate. So this is where this is live. This is how this is managed. Make.power.automate is where everything is, let's say, configured. You can see here under my flow, if you go there, desktop flows, and you can start a new flow, desktop flow from here, and that will launch, if you have it, the Power Automate desktop for you. Okay, once you install it, it will ask you to sign in. So as you see here, I'm signed in with my organization account. I cannot use it with personal account. It must be an organizational account. So you must have a 365 access. So now this is, once I install this here, Power Automate will define my laptop as a machine. You will see it here as a machine. And this machine, I can have a status for it. I can see what kind of, let's say, jobs running on it, what kind of operations. I can do some grouping, some queues, and after a while, you will see some kind of resource consumptions as well. So before the deep dive, let's talk a little bit about the options for the machine. So if you want something that you run it yourself, you can install it in your machine. If you want something more efficient, you will need a dedicated machine for it, and it will appear here automatically. So here you have something called hosted machine. And by hosted machine, it's an option from Microsoft. You need to have, unfortunately, it's our region is not supported, but you need to have an Azure subscription to buy it. So in this case, the whole thing will be hosted by Microsoft, and it will be run on Microsoft. So you specify all the specification and all the stuff. By this, you don't need to worry about anything from infrastructure. But as of now, you have the Power Automate desktop. And one comment or one note here, it does take a lot of resources when it's running. So keep in mind, if you're planning to use it in your own machine, it does take some good amount of resources. You need a strong laptop or a device to ensure it's running smoothly. So here you will see all the machines, and you can see the name of the environment here. Ensure it's the same. So environment RPA, and here is the environment RPA. Maybe you will see the default environment in your scenario. So there's a default environment in every tenant. So depends in the tenant if there are any work done here. So if not, most likely you will see a default environment only. After you download, you do the sign in, and you get this homepage. Now with this homepage, you will have some examples from Microsoft's, but let's not, let's say you can explore them. So let's say Excel automation, it will show you some steps, how to do stuff, how to Excel, how to play with the Excel. The one that almost always, it's an interesting one, it's the web automation. Okay, so we'll talk about this and we will see an actual example of it. Now, once you go to the flow, I have two flows here. So the first flow is reading from reading from 1 second. Reading from this folder. I have two Excel sheets. The first Excel sheet has some kind of unstructured data somehow. It's not formatted as a table with the name, email, and amount. And so what we're going to try to do now with the first bot, it will open this sheet, take the data, and for each record, it will send an email. And I will make a run first, and then we go through how we're going to build it. Sending daily. Now, I want to show you here as well, like after you build it and you finish everything, you can create desktop shortcut. So you don't need to open the whole thing. You just double click on the shortcut in the desktop, and that will trigger the flow. Now here, let's go back and let's start. And I have a note to myself that I show my hand in the camera. I'm not doing anything. So yeah, so the flow started. Still running. We see the Excel has just opened. It's now reading the Excel. I think in a minute we will see the Outlook open now. Now Outlook is opened. It will be more visible now when we do it. The web will show you. You will see it actually doing the stuff in front of you. We will wait for this to finish. Now okay, run successfully. I can check my Outlook, and at the same time here in the My Flows desktop, I can see it from here as well. I can manage it online, so if I'm not in the machine. So 15 seconds ago, I can see it happening, all good. I want to show you the emails. I think it will fail to send because it's dummy emails, but that's good enough for me. You see this one, the two failed one. Sorry, this the one. That I just try to send coming from the bot, and regardless of how many records I have on the file, it will try to send them all. So let's go through the steps one by one. I will go edit. Now this is like the home page. Now the editor of the desktop flow, it will look like this. It's like an action pane where you can add actions, specify actions, and a list of available, let's say, actions for you to use. So we will go through them quickly now. As I said, it's not a small application. So this is why I said you need a good device here to ensure it's running smoothly. All right. So my flow is simple. Okay, so this is like the editor of the desktop flow. On the left here, you see all the available actions that you can use. Some of these has this little icon that means it needs a premium license, but other ones you can use easily. I want to just touch base on some of the predefined ones, like Excel, for example. These are all the Excel actions that you can do. Word, same. Outlook, same. You can do email if you are on the Exchange as well here. This is all done. This is all predefined actions exist. Now let's go through the steps that we have here and go through them one by one. So the first step is launching Excel. So we have some parameters here. you can make it invisible. So if you don't want to have it on the touch and the front screen for you, you read the data. I see all available values from worksheet that will read everything, and you have options to read more specific details of the Excel sheet if you have, let's say, more unstructured data on the sheet, like Excel reports, for example. Then we are launching Outlook. I'm waiting 5 minutes, sorry, 5 seconds to ensure Outlook is up and running. I'm sending email, and from here I'm passing the values in these two parameters, and I can edit all of this as well. I make a loop. Now, as I said, this is all from standard actions. We have Copilot helper here as well as usual at Microsoft, so you can check stuff. So let's run it from here now and see how it will look like. The nice thing when you run it from here in the editor, you will see what's happening in the runtime here with the variables and all of that. Give it some time. You see this updated as well, the Excel data. Sending the first one, the second wait, finished. The second wait now for the 10 seconds. I can see all the data here. So if you press in any of them, just putting now because it's running closed and closed. If you press here, you can see all the data that is coming from the Excel. Now, this is how usually, this is a very simplified one, to be honest. Usually there has a lot more complex, let's say, data interactions, but the idea is the same. You open the Excel, you get the data, and from the data, you can take action. Like, for example, if I want to, let's go to the next one. Don't save, which is update the web. In this scenario, I will be reading from the Excel file, and I will push it to the specific web page on the internet. So we can run it from here. Here we go, start running. So let's say I'm not on my machine, I'm logged out, it will fail. So even if it's triggered from outside, you need to have, let's say the account is logged into the machine. You can trigger it. So this is the web. We open the web page here, and my hand, I just have the same note. And you see the mouse now going to the website and taking actions. But you see it's a bit slow. Okay, here we go. And this is now reading from the Excel sheet. You see, it takes time, even if it's simple. So this is why performance, it's a must to consider when you do interaction with the web pages. Especially, we've done, let's say, once with government websites. When government websites, especially HR people, like register someone in a specific countries, they have to go through specific actions on the organization, say portals, also sorry, government portals that they need to update the employees' residency or visa or all of that. So this is perfect for such a thing because you can automate the whole thing, because usually organizations have someone dedicated for these actions to go to the government website and do the actions. Now you can trigger it from anywhere, put the data in Excel sheet, and that will be, let's say, taken care of. Now you can trigger this from outside as well, the machine. Let me show you how. Or before that, let's go to the, sorry, let's go to the update the web and show you the steps of the part inside. Again, this is simple. Let's say mimic of someone filling data on a website. Usually people as well using this for, let's say, getting the data from the bank for the reconciliation or actions, getting data from some, let's say, public websites to as a data scrubbers, even though there are other options for data scrubbers, to be honest, like the huge amount or data size. Currently, people doing it with Python and stuff like this, but still, you can do it with Power Automate as well. You can do it here. All right. So let's go through the steps here. We have the same launch Excel and read, and then for each we are launching Chrome with the specific items, and these are steps that let's say we follow on the browser. Now, for this specific one, I will say rebuild it with you now to show you how we can get these UI options from the browser. Okay, so let's close this one. Let's create a new flow. We'll say update the web to or Apex enabled. Let's make it the website here already. Let's take some time. Okay. All right, so we have it here. So you can start with launch. We are looking to launch Excel. It will ask us launch Excel with a blank document or the following document. You select the path or you just go from here. Desktop, RPA, RPA2. There are some other options. Always good to check what options you get. And in a production environment, you always have to have an error option, like it's a branching. So if what will happen if this action failed? So throwing an error or continue flow run, you can add a specific rule, what's the retry policy and all of that. But let's not go through it now. Okay, so this is done. And then the next one is read. Where is Excel? Let's read it from Excel worksheet. As you can see here, it shows me the Excel instance that I just opened. I have multiple options here. I want to see all available values, and it will recognize the data. When the data is blank or that's the end of the data, it will recognize it. So this is good when you have, let's say, rows, but if you have totally unstructured Excel, it's better to do it as a specific range of data. All right, now we have the data. Okay, what we can do now for sorry, loop, not loop, it's for we have for each, yeah, and for each, see this one, you have Excel data. For each Excel data, what we're gonna do now, we can start now. Let's do simple, similar what we did before. Let's launch Chrome. And it's okay, launching a new instance, you can attach to something exist. I want it to be maximized, the URL that I want to connect to. There you go. And if there's a multiple desktop or anything else, you can save it. Let's say close as well, so we can close it. No. It's okay. Let's run it as it is now. No, we need the close. Sorry. Shift the actions from the other one because to be honest, we have many actions on this platform, so it's hard to remember them all. Yeah, go to the browser. The browser instance is here. All right, so I want to just put wait here. As you can see, it needs a better laptop somehow, but it's heavy. Wait, equal, I want 3 seconds. Okay, that's enough for now. I think we can test. Let's run. It's running. Okay, we got this one started. 3 seconds, and it will be closed and start again. Fine. All right, that's good. Now let's see how we're gonna, let's say, let's keep this closed. How we're gonna do the web configuration. So I will start the Chrome, put the website here, and there's a nice option from the Power Automate desktop. Put the cursor here and say recorder. What recorder means? Now, Power Automate desktop will record the steps that you are taking and generate the related actions to it. Okay, so I will try to mimic the actions that I'm going to do by hitting record. Now, you will see, you will wait to this red icon and say test. Just put anything here. Yeah. Then here, now this is not correct. It should enter text. Sorry. Let's cancel, do it again, record. Okay, not this one. Give it some time to wake up. Okay. Let's close. Let me close the other one because I feel something is running and the Excel sheet is running. Don't need this one. So a second, I think I opened too many things. Let's get rid of this one first. And get rid of this one as well. And just keep this one. Okay. All right. I record. All right. So we get the recorder up and running. So you hit the record button and you start taking actions. Yeah, I think my device is, I can feel the temperature on the laptop. Yeah. Anyway, so once you do this, you will get all these steps, and once you press done, if you go back, you will see all these auto-generated actions. Populate text. So let me take just one. I will drag this inside this action and delete the unnecessary one. I will take this one as the one that I wanted. And inside this one, and if you are not sure if you get it right or not, you always can do repair from here. Once you do repair, it will ask you to right control and right click on it. If the click, and that will take it automatically and update the code here. There any, you see the repairing here. Okay, there is repairing, save. And to take a value from the code index. So you need to know some kind of a function, because it's really now giving me hard time to do anything. Interesting. Let's run it, see what will happen. Excel is already open, so I think that's not a problem. Shouldn't be a problem. In general, the RPA, let's say, implementation process requires a lot of trials and testing. So you need to, especially when you are dealing with the UI, because the web pages has a lot of validations and stuff like this. So you need the browser speed, the network speed, all of that could affect. So it needs a lot of testing, to be honest, and it usually takes a lot of iterations to get it done exactly as you want it. And I think what happened here? Okay, it's failing here. Textbooks was not, like as I said, textbooks was not found. I think my machine is not handling all the pressure here. But anyway, so this is how you get the exact steps that you done manually filled in here, and then you can continue your process. Now, once you have that, you will have it listed in your desktop flows here. You cannot run it manually here, but if you want to run it from the cloud, for example, uh, you have here, or before that, so you have the desktop flows now, including the new one. If you refresh, will come. Save that one. Oh, we did not save. All right, okay, good. And let's see how the automation center will help us here. Now, this is the automation center. Will show you all the runs, all the flows, the failures, the machine status, the fail. You can see it here, the machines as well. Depends on how many machines you have. One thing to consider, this application, this is Power Automate Desktop, get like every couple of weeks you have a new update from Microsoft. So you need to ensure always it's up to date. There are some nice, let's say, capabilities, like you can define the saving of like how much each flow will save you, and at the end of the month you get the total data of money. Nice to have as well. Here's like the capacity utilization if you are actually using what you have as a licenses. So here in the scenario we don't have any licenses, and then you have the errors here to show all the errors, even at the machine level or desktop flow level. Now, if I want to use the flow as part of my cloud flow. There's an option here, show to you. So you build your cloud flow normally, and then depends on the trigger. This trigger could be manual. This trigger could be coming from API external system. Someone dropping a file in a specific folder. All of that. And then you have an option to say run flow built with Power Automate stop. And then all the flows that you have on the specific machine, you will have them here. And you will have two options, attended and unattended. And as I said, if you are attended, then you have to have, let's say, a valid connection or already signed into the machine. If unattended, the flow itself to log into the machine. The unattended one is more expensive. I think it's around $150 per part. So yeah, you need to consider the licenses as well, of course. Depends if it's a hosted machine or not. By this, you can integrate the bot to a full workflow. Like if you have a manual, if you have a cloud approval, and then you want to integrate this bot to the flow, that will work as well. So I know this is a lot, and to be honest, this topic is big. There are a lot of details on it, but I tried as much as I can to give you a high level of how this works and a good way to start your journey with it. Okay, let's back to our presentation. Okay, as a best practice with the RPA in general, usually do not build the whole flow altogether. Like build the actions and verify it works. Like launching a Chrome, done. Filling the first name, it's working, done, and so on. So do not try to build the whole thing because you need to verify step by step. Uh, Second, it's just like a general workflow idea is that a bot or not, always standardize the process before it start, let's say, working on them to automate them. Document workflow, of course, because you need to somewhere as a reference, because once you start developing the workflow actions could be, let's say, taking, let's say, different branches. It will be really confusing. And as you see the editor, it's not the best visualization of the workflow. Then you need to ensure or to test with the end users how they're gonna use the bot, how they're gonna interact. Is it like attended on their machines, unattended? What kind of input? And of course, you have monitor. Now, let's make some kind of open time for interactive talking. So, what's the process you think you could have let's say, benefit of such a scenario? I think I see hands raised. Sorry. Yeah, Wes, I'm not sure if you have a specific uh, item or a process, or you have a question. Yeah, Wes, I think. Okay. Yeah, Wes, you still there?
Can you hear me, guys?
Yes, we can hear you now.
So primarily, on the website, like whenever we using some sort of automated tool to perform these kind of action, it's restricted by the browser itself. Like Microsoft Edge is being controlled by automated software. These kind of restriction. Do we have these kind of restriction, or like is there any other thing?
So it depends on the website itself, to be honest. It's not in the browser level, because in the browser, like for example, for Chrome, you have a Power Automate extension and Edge already supported. So it depends on the browser. There is something called anti-bot style of coding, to be honest. In the websites, they can recognize the bot. But in general, most of the websites, uh, I did not see, let's say, even governmental website, you still can do it, because here we are not doing anything behind the doors. It's just like a human taking actions. You get my point?
Okay. And
Yeah.
the second question was like when we were working on the UI side. So primarily when it picks up any field, it actually identifies the element by ID, or what particular parameters it actually used to record the session? Because
Yes.
most of the times it gets actually changed, or when you have a second, third versions of the website, the element or the IDs places actually get changed. So how gonna it actually going to track?
Yeah. So there's multiple ways to do it, to be honest. So as you say, it's by element ID, but we can have a dynamic, let's say, mapping using by reading the HTML of the page and identify the IDs for that specific, let's say, text box or button. So you have like a dynamic HTML. It's not the best way because this rely a lot on how the website is developed. But usually the ID stays the same, specifically for the major items.
Okay, and the last question, most of the websites now are actually rendered on a server side. Okay, so when you open up, send the request and get the page from there to load the information. So how can it actually going to manage these kind of requests? You like going to add up some dynamic weight, or like what is the procedure to handle these kind of things?
So not sure, to be honest, never handle say that specifically. But I think it will do some kind of drawing on you mean it's rendering on the real time, correct?
So like when we use you can say Python or any particular tool to open up the page and fill up the information,
Yes.
it opens the page, but because that particular element is still not actually rendered, and it actually throws the error because
Uh,
the request was sent and the element was not actually received by
yeah.
the web page. So
Yeah.
these kind of async actions.
Yeah, I got your point. To be honest, this could be taken, let's say, case by case, and you need to have some kind of, let's say, error handling as well in your bot for just such a scenarios. And this is why I said, for specifically for the UI pieces on the websites, you need to do a lot of iterations to ensure you are getting it right with multiple cases, multiple scenarios.
Okay,
Yep.
and
All
thank you
right.
so much for this
Thank
session.
you. Thank you. Okay. I think we can keep going. Uh, let's talk about the challenges there, because at the end of the day, um, these bots, it's not, let's say, because it's running on the machine itself, so it's not an API. It's not. It relies on the interface. So it's not all the processes are good for or candidates for the bot automations or the RPA. I would always say the bot should be the last option, not the first option. There should be a reason why we are going to use a bot. Okay. So if you have an integration, if you have a process, always my preferred option to think of an API, a cloud-based solution rather than having a machine and all of that. Requires governance. As you said, we have a lot of errors. We have a lot of changes on the websites and all of that, and users would behave differently according to that. So you don't need an automation that you are having someone busy all the time monitoring the automation and fixing it. So this is another challenge, depends on your process. So you need to understand how easy you build things. You don't need some time to automate the full thing, uh, but you need to define your strategy at the same way. So define the long term and do it as pieces, as a quick wins. So you understand the whole thing and keep things cavalry loose. So if something failed, not the whole system will fail, just that specific area. And at the end of the day, just like any other, let's say, automation, you have some kind of a change management, because if you start keeping addition and adding more changes to the bot, you will reach to the point you will have a bot with 100 actions. I'm not sure what's happening inside of each, and if you want to make one single edit, you will take 1 day just to figure out where this change should be. So you need some kind of a change management as well. All right. So at the end here, the RPA in general, as we said, it's like a digital workforce, digital employee that's doing specific actions for you, either a systems or a web pages, Excel sheet, files, all of that, the same things. It's fully integratable with my Power Platform as a Power automate other APIs, external systems, as well as using the cloud version of it. As I said, start small and scale when you're building. Like start with small pieces, one by one, launching the Chrome, filling the first name, last name, and go step by step. Don't try to do the whole thing, and do it carefully loose, understand the full solution, the long-term strategy for you that you are gonna try to achieve by this, but try to make it as a smaller pieces so you can get what you want from the bot. So let's have some kind of a QA or any questions if anyone has. So happy to answer. Anything, or if you have any specific process or scenario you wanna, let's say, brainstorm it together about, is it possible to do an RPA for it or not? Yeah, I'm happy to, let's say, chat about it. Okay. All right. I think by this, maybe we can wrap up. If you ever, let's say, question anything, or you have any specific questions, or you want to chat about it further, just drop me a message or an email, and I can chat and we can talk about it. Thank you all for joining. Let's say, hopefully you get what you came here for, and I would love to hear some feedback maybe after this call as well. Um, thank you all, and thanks, Michael. Sorry, Michelle. Thank you all. Have a good day.